Fanboy Modeling School. Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, now in HD, and I'm here with my man
Steve, real name no gimmicks, also in HD. Hey, how do you spell laity? You know how to spell that word?
I don't. That's why I don't want it to be one of the choices.
You said you like that one, you prick.
No, I like the sound of it, but it's too complicated.
It's too complicated.
Welcome, you are listening to Fanboy Modeling School, the Fat Mantis, and Steve, real name no gimmicks, your fun, fantastical friends who like to take massive deuces on pop culture. And of course, you will notice there is an American flag behind me, which means we're getting into Inauguration week. I say week, of course, because the Donald does not stop. Donald does not stop. And of course, we are brought to you by Riz Radio. You can catch us both on Riz Radio over at rizradio.com or wherever digital radio is found. Indeed. So, my man, how do you feel about everything this week?
You know how I always feel about this type of stuff, man. There are a lot of happy people. I'm a sit and wait type of guy. Let's see what happens, I didn't watch the inauguration. Let me start there first, right? I haven't watched anything since the debates. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he won. Let's see. Now it's time to see the policies. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? So I'll tell you this. Of course I did watch it. It was indoors. It was beautiful. And honestly, his speech was amazing.
Did it make you cry? You cried, didn't you?
I cried. No, I may not have cried, but I felt proud to be an American again.
Wait, that's interesting. Does your pride as an American waver or wean depending on who's president?
Well, no. Okay, so here's basically what it was. Certainly not. I'm not one of them because I actually think I judge people like that.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, for the last administration, I will actively say I felt like it was a disgrace, the man who was sitting in the presidency.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speak on it, man. Don't give up. Let us know why they released the hatred.
Dragon Lady says he is a joke.
Who's a joke?
And then Shaolin Iceboxer says there are no kings in America. No, there aren't. Although I meant the figurative king, Shaolin. He, of course, is talking about our cover. I put Donald Trump as it.
Also, I got a little poll going there for you guys, for anyone that comes in. Did Elon do it? Did he do it? Did Elon do it? Go ahead and check out the poll.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about that one.
No need to jump ahead. I just wanted to put it out there for the audience. Did Elon do it?
Dragon Lady says he lost me when he said he would put God second. I don't know who. She's saying Trump. I don't.
I believe so. Was there an instance where Trump put God second? So tell me about the speech, man. Tell me about the speech.
For instance, in it, he actually says, this is a country founded by the people of God, and we will not forget God. And he blatantly said that. And so I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's just whatever statement. The fact that that's a controversial statement is wild.
Yeah, that's not controversial.
And then, he said, but I'm saying people are acting like it's controversial. And then another thing he said, there are only two genders.
Oh yeah. I saw that soundbite. That one I
and he basically said this government is going to function like there's only two. And then he also later on said we're not going to be obsessed with race or any other type of classification of people. He says this is going to be a society based on merit.
Uh-oh.
I love that you said that because a lot of people are like merit. Now I have to work. Yeah, you have to work. Yeah, you may have to work a little. You may have to stay past 5:30. Poor thing. But he also spoke out. He also spoke about American exceptionalism.
Okay.
But Americans, he didn't use the phrase manifest destiny, but he implied it very much that, we were meant to do great things. He said, we're going to plant a flag on Mars. He said all these great things. He's like, we're going to expand our borders. We're going to dominate the market. We're going to be once again the greatest country. We're going to live up to the name of the greatest country in the world. And honestly, I was like completely moved. I was like, yes, more of this, please. And so what are your thoughts on those? She says, no, he said that. I have not only did I not hear him say that, I have not heard anyone report on that. And they would be reporting on that, right? It was an amazing speech. Yeah, he laid it down, man. He laid it down. What he showed, what he exemplified was strength and basically the badass attitude that any one of us praise. The same thing we see from our superheroes, the same things that we say from our rappers or our musicians, the same thing we praise about everyone that we go on. We're like, look, what a badass. They don't take crap, right? He exemplifies, and he exemplified in that speech. And it doesn't make sense to me that somebody who watches a superhero movie and is like, I love it when the superhero comes and kicks somebody's ass, or I love it when Wolverine doesn't take crap, and then suddenly looks at Trump's speech and doesn't see that. Because the guy before him certainly wasn't someone who didn't take crap. The guy before who sat in that seat before took a lot of crap, took crap all the time.
In regards to taking crap, I'm back. I'm sorry about that, man. Technical difficulties. Don't worry. Can you hear me? I'll be able to, I'll pull down the episode. We'll get the audio one way or another. So wait, but let's just dial it back for me for 1 sec, bro. Do you think in your heart of hearts, right? Do you think in your heart of hearts that this administration is going to be different?
Different? It's going to be absolutely within the first day. I don't know if you heard about all his, his executive orders. Obviously, a bunch of people are going to be bringing him to court over them, but it is going to be different. And so he already signed an executive order defining what a man and a woman is. And he says in our government, we're only going to acknowledge two genders. And so already that's an amazing accomplishment.
What other policies are you looking for from Trump? Because you're a Trumper. You're a Trumper. You're a Trumper. You trumpeted. You wear that Trumper.
At this point I am a Trump. I would say.
What other policies are you excited
for instance, I really like that he shut down the app, the refugee status app. And so what it is Biden and Harris had, they took an app that was normally used for shipping. You basically what it is you schedule appointments at the border if you have cargo to ship, and they modified it to refer to refugees. And so the policy under Biden was that if you were applying for refugee status, you could come into this country without papers or anything, and you're waiting for your appointment over on the other side, on our side of the border.
Okay.
And so Trump deaded that, and he said, no, if you're waiting for an appointment, the app is dead. If you're waiting for an appointment, you're waiting on the other side of the border.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch. And, you know what I'm saying? And, I know that is, I understand that, I absolutely understand, and this is funny that the stream is getting to a less carefree place, but I know that people feel that the immigration thing is where people really catch feelings. If people were slightly offended by what I said about gender a minute or two ago, I'm sure they're very offended by what I just said about immigration.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
like, I do not believe that a system, that a government or a country works with an open border, because no other country anywhere, even these supposed, these nice Canadians or Australians,
Oh, the
none of them have an open border. There isn't
Canadians.
a sane person anywhere who has an open border. So why should we? It doesn't make any sense.
No, I get you. I get you. All right. All right. So you came fight. You came to fight tonight. You came
I
ready
did come to fight.
to
I came
defend
to
the
shut
guy.
down the haters. I came to shut down the haters on like multiple fronts, because I know, I've been looking at some of our topics. I'm like, oh, I know we're gonna get into this one.
Yeah. I mean, so overall, I'm gonna hold back my opinions until we get to certain topics. But of course, I'm gonna chime in. It's not gonna be you talking. But overall, so you enjoyed the inauguration. It was everything you were hoping for.
Yeah.
All dreams fulfilled. A new day in America, as they say.
Yes.
Okay.
He also, he quoted Dr. King, right?
So let's start right there. What day is the inauguration usually on? Is it typically on?
It's always, well, here's what it's Dr. King's day is the one that shifts.
Okay.
But inauguration is always January 20th.
20th? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, obviously, what King's is the fourth Monday of January, I think, but whatever. It's one of those Monday holidays that always like kind of shifts,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a funny coincidence.
Okay, but let's start there. Should Trump have done it another day? And I'm just talking about.
Well, no, he doesn't have a choice. It's always January 20th. He cannot.
So he doesn't have a hand in that. Now,
Yeah.
What do you think of the irony of Trump's inauguration being on?
Well, you know what it is? It was the most fitting thing ever, because he actually said in his speech that he said, we are not going to judge people by the color of their skin. And he didn't actually give credit to Martin Luther King, but obviously we know who he's quoting. He said, we're not going to judge people by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. He said that in his speech, and that is what the destruction of DEI is. DEI is a racist, horrible policy that judges people on their race. What Trump is suggesting is good old-fashioned 90s and early 2000s definition of racism. It's like, we're all different, but we get along, we tolerate each other, let's do this,
So I'm glad you were like intellectually consistent there. I was like, where's he going with this? What utopic dream is he trying to sell me right now? All right, so content of a person's character, the hardest worker gets it. Now, Mantis, I don't know if you know this.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, there have been some disparities between who's considered the hardest worker in America. That's why certain things were enacted, and the opportunity for a person to have that same opportunity. Not the opportunity to have the same conclusion or outcome, but just the opportunity to get up to bat. Do you feel as if, though, America, here, today, 2025, on the Lord's Day of January 21st, America's in a place where those disparities won't exist anymore?
Do you watch Star Trek?
I do.
Okay, so you know how the people of Star Trek, they're this advanced group of people who in the future they somehow get over all their BS and stuff like that. Right. Those are the people who can handle DEI. Those are the people who can handle affirmative action. Okay. Here on Earth, we are too corrupt, and in 21st century Earth, we are too corrupt and too messed up to work a system out like that. Every time I've seen some of these systems used, it's over correcting or under correcting. It's used for racist purposes. Here's what I'm saying. If DEI actually did equal the playing field, I would be happy for it. Instead, it has been used as a means to be racist against white people and elevate, well, not the best workers.
Okay.
That's my take on it.
No,
I wish we could use it correctly. I really do.
Institutionally, or systemically, where have the not best workers been instated according to that view? Like, where have you seen the most discrepancies in the quality of worker because of DEI?
You're saying because of DEI?
Yeah.
Because of DEI, where to have it? Well, I mean, if you have to do anything with any government services, and I use Obamacare, I go to a clinic for my hospital needs.
You're a man of the people.
I see it.
I won't be going to
I see it every single day. I see it every day. I see it. I think we love to. I think we are viewers of like this content creation world where everyone's interviewing everyone's getting interviewed, and I love it when somebody who steps up to bat, who clearly doesn't know what the hell they're talking about or shouldn't have the job that they have, and they're like, I'm the director of blah blah blah, and you're like, you are. And I just feel like I see that everywhere, and honestly, a meritocracy is the only system that I'm pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, you're saying that you see it mostly in government appointed jobs.
Government, in government, like the post office, clinics, stuff like that.
Really? Now, is that because of the experience and the quality of care you've received in these places and treatment?
You know what? I'm going to be real. I think I hate the post office, and no offense to the hardworking post office people. I'm sure there's some of you are good. Sure, right, but I might have I might have a bias against my experiences in the post office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about it. What happened? What happened? Give it him.
Every time I go to the post office, there's some overly mean person who's like, you didn't file this correctly. You need to use that envelope. Get out of line. And I'm like, well, can I just get back in? No, you can't. And I'm like, what the
What's up, D? Welcome in.
D, welcome in. Happy Inauguration Week. Steve's going. Steve's basically interviewing me and trying to trick me into saying that I'm pro affirmative action or something.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you the opportunity to really lay out why you're so excited about the Trump administration. I know why people are excited, and I know how he aligns with things that I believe. But you remember, I'm the curmudgeon. I don't trust any politician as far as I can throw them. There is some interest that I have that I hope that Trump, I hope he meets the quota on these things. If not, he'll just be another failed politician. Hopefully, his failure won't be too, in this hypothetical scenario, won't be so disastrous that it brings down the republic. But again, he's just a tool to me. Trump is just a tool to me. I don't look at this man. I wish I could look at him like that. He's just the means to an end. I didn't look at any part of the inauguration, the clips I saw, and like, oh God, no, I'm waiting for Jesus to come back. I'm saving that emotion for Jesus. Trump is just a guy that we're trying to get some stuff done politically.
But it's not blasphemy. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not heresy or blasphemy to still be proud of your president and be like, I'm happy.
Listen, if he does something that makes me proud, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be praying for his success.
And and real quick, I want to actually give an apology over to Dragon Lady, because I did say I didn't hear him say God. He would put God second, and now I realize what she's talking about. Okay, when he was listing the importance of things in America, he listed family first, then he listed God, and I did notice that. Now that she mentions it, here's the thing: I am not under some delusion that he's a real Christian. I think he's just a surface Christian. You know what I mean? Someone who's been to church once or twice, and they're like, yeah, there's this guy named God, and there's this guy named the devil, and on God's side. Or something like that. So I don't really think that he is here to restore Christianity. Now, here's the thing that I love about him, and like you said, this is how it dates back to what you're talking about. He's here to be used. That's the best way to have a politician. I'm using you for what you're going to give me. And here's what it is. He identifies, even though he may not have it dominant in his life, he identifies the importance of both God and religion.
Okay.
As opposed to somebody who would say, and I would absolutely say Biden is someone who plays on the other side of it. He baits atheists. Biden, he works in conjunction with atheists and diabolical people, demonic people. And Trump at least understands that that's not cool, even though he himself, like anyone, is a sinner. But also he doesn't. It's clear that he wouldn't think of God first, and I'm not delusional to think he would.
No, I got you. Hey, man, you're in a safe space. No one's against you here, big guy.
Yeah, there's none of that is coming off of me. I don't know why you said
that. What do you think about the thing with him not placing his hand on the Bible?
Huh. And so this is what I'm saying. Look at Dragon Lady says he didn't put his hand on the Bible, false prophet. So in America, the office of presidency is secular. It's not a role of a prophet. No president before him has ever been a prophet, and he, like all of the others, are the same. And so I don't love that. I really don't love that. He did bring his own Bible. It's so weird that he brought his own Bible and then didn't touch it.
The Trump Bible?
No. He said he brought his family Bible. Like Melania was carrying a Bible, and she's like, "Oh, it's from," and he's like, "Oh, this." Yeah, apparently it's a Bible from his family or whatever. But then when the oath took, and he didn't put his hand on it, and like I said, he is not. And I'm not trying to criticize him for that, because anyone can change and learn and grow, but he probably doesn't come from a household that puts God first, and so he wouldn't think to touch the Bible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Just like if you became president, I am sure that when you were listing the important things in life, you would have named God first.
Absolutely.
But I think it's.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
But I'm saying I think it's clear that Trump's religion is probably either business or money or something, and that's why he doesn't name God first.
I think that's a very well articulated thing you said. The presidency of America is a secular position, right? We understand that these people are appointed and ordained by God, but he himself occupies a position that isn't supposed to have any religious leanings. He's just supposed to serve the demographic, and serve democracy of this country. That's a good point, man. You're a smart guy, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that. Okay. So you are taking victory laps. And when I say you, this is not to put like the weight on you. There's no Gotham coming, man. I see you keep looking. You're waiting for the right.
I am waiting for the Gotham. I'm waiting for you to. Hold on. You're collecting all this evidence on me, and then you're gonna flip it on me.
2 hours into the stream, and I'm like, so this is what happened on October 3rd. No, that moment's not coming, because I see people are elated, man. Conservative YouTube is buzzing right now, man. People are just. Your girl, Allie Beth Stuckey, is that how you say her name? Allie Beth Stuckey?
Yeah.
Stuckey, Miss Stuckey. She said she arrived. She's in DC right now. She was doing something for the Blaze, obviously employed by the Blaze. Shout out to her. And she said there's just a different energy in DC. It's a different energy. Now, she also made sure to quickly clarify that and say, I don't mean like some weird crystal-bearing energy or anything like that. She's like, it just seems renewed and hopeful.
She's like super scared anyone will consider her new age or something.
Yeah, like that, I would be terrified of that too if I was in her position. Like the yoke must be strenuous, but is that what you're feeling? Are you feeling hope? Is that what you're feeling? You're feeling a sense of hope in like 4 years of what some people consider the worst presidency.
Right. And yeah, Biden is, a lot of people are considering him the worst. And that's the thing. That's the poor thing about my poor Democrat friends. And I love you all. I absolutely love you all. But I have some who just have not accepted this. They entire time didn't accept it. A lot of them were people like, I remember I sat down at a bar with one of them. He came and visited me. He doesn't normally come to my hood or whatever. And we sat down. This was a couple of months before the Democratic Party decided to go with Kamala. And he sat down and ran. We weren't even talking politics. And we were at a bar and some politic thing came up and on the screen. And he goes, yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that people think Trump is going to win. Biden is going to totally spank him. And I looked at him and I realized I could tell he was fooling himself. He didn't really believe that. He was just saying that.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. And it's just and I felt so bad for him. So I didn't argue. I was like, yeah, sure, buddy. Let me get the next round. So, like,
whatever you say, guy.
but you know, for the longest time, people didn't accept that he was senile when he was clearly senile. Then, as soon as, and you know, conservatives for years have been pointing out that he's senile. You know, particularly conservative comedians. But as soon as the Democratic Party then decides he's senile, they then immediately accept it. Why do they immediately accept it? They've known this whole time. Right. They've been lying to themselves, right? But I think they've been lying to themselves about his just his presidency in general. Like, you know, I had a family member talk about Biden's legacy. They're like, you know, what kind of legacy is he leaving? And I was thinking, I'm like, he doesn't have a legacy. He hasn't done anything for this country. He certainly hasn't done anything for the people.
Well, yeah, man. You know what the complicated thing is? We're gonna have to pull up the stats on that, man. What has he? I'm trying to be pragmatic. I want to go down in history as being pragmatic in this episode. What has he accomplished for the American people throughout the 4-year presidency? If anyone's in the chat, and this is not a trick question, like this is a legitimate question for you to rep for your man right now. Whatever it is Biden accomplished, whether it's during the live or later on when you're replaying this, we would like to know what you think he got done.
Right. And so, you know, I will say this one thing that he did, you know, he got the infrastructure bill passed. So, you know, repairing America's infrastructure. I think that's good. Is that legendary? Is that memorable? You know what I mean? Will that be in the history book?
I don't know. If it fall on you, you're going to thank him. Yeah, when you're walking down under the 125th Street Bridge and it doesn't collapse on you.
Yeah. No, I do think I'm glad that he did that. But is it historical? Will it end up in a history book? I have my doubts. Dragon Lady says I'm done with voting.
Ooh.
Oh wow, that's heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, but Steve, you seem like you're the guy who like hides in the shadows and you wait for a clear winner to be there and then you stand on that side. Am I correct on this?
No, see, and it's amazing that you would even come to that assessment. I just don't have the attachment. So I'll say it again, man. I don't feel any more hope with Trump in office than I did with Biden. What I am looking for is a consistent level of delivery from a politician, right? I vote my interest, man. And my interests only matter as long as they're delivered on. Like otherwise than that, I'm just expressing my opinion. But I have things that I want to see get accomplished. And whoever says they can get those things accomplished is the person I'm going to go with. Now, here's the problem. The things I want to get accomplished usually 100% of the time don't align with progressives, right? Maybe one thing aligns. I have a view on the environment that most people with my worldview don't share. I think we're to be good stewards of this planet, right? God gave us this to steward it well. We don't have to worship the gift. We just have to treat it like a gift, right? So that's one thing.
For instance, there's actually two things that I'm very against Trump that he did in day one with his executive orders.
What's that, buddy?
And for the first one was backing out of the Paris climate accords. And so, he's basically admitting that he's like, we're going to pollute the crap out of the world in the next 4 years. And then the other one is this one, they're going to take him to court because this is something that's in the Constitution. And I don't agree with what he's doing. He said he's trying to nullify birthright citizenship.
Birthright citizenship. Oh, so in other words, you're born here, then quote unquote anchor babies is what.
Yes, he's stopping. He's trying to stop. Yeah, unfortunately, the phrase, and I do agree that
it's a horrible phrase. As far as slurs go, that's a bad one.
I say every bad word in the English dictionary. Anchor baby's rough. I do not like that. He's trying to stop that, but like from my understanding, I bet you the stats don't even follow with him. They're not anchor babies, for lack of a better term, are not a scourge on society. It's not like I've lost out a job because there were anchor babies stealing them from me. You know what I mean? Like it's really not that bad a problem. And also, what is a better way to determine citizenship than just being born here?
Actually, a lot of it, I won't even say a lot. I watched. That is the appropriate thing to say here.
I watched a thing once with people who are considered to be quote unquote anchor babies. I won't be using that term for the remainder of the show. But people who are born here.
We don't have another term, though. We don't have another.
People are born here and their parents were citizens, right? And watching these people who have developed into adults, like they have a deep love and appreciation for America. Now, their parents managed to be naturalized and went through the entire process. So there's a whole backstory there. But yeah, man, that's not a hill I want to die on, right? Because surprise, surprise, I'm black, right? And I think there are certain things that you can lend your vote to, and then once they get rid of all those folk, I don't know. You want to know what it is, Mantis? I'm always living on faith that we don't go through another Tulsa situation. That's America's not that far removed from that type of behavior.
No. So on the screen.
This is not. Wait, let me articulate. This is an unreasonable fear, but it's a fear that happened within the last few not even 100 years.
Yes.
So it's something I always keep an eye out on for. Let me give an example. After my incident with the police officer today, I was getting my inspection done. There was a gentleman in there. Had on an American flag hat in green camo, camo pants on. Typical upstate guy, right? This can go one of two ways, right? He could actually be just another God-fearing man, imago Dei, image bearer of God, or he could be a crazy person. And turned out he was a little bit of a crazy person. He went on to tell me that, he was a Fed. And while he was in New York one day, we were talking about our disdain of the crime in the city. I'm going somewhere with this. He's like, I was in the city one day. I'm half listening at this point too. I'm just like, I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't have any weapons on him. He's not going to shoot the place up, right?
Right.
He's like, while I'm in the city, I called this guy because I realized I was being followed. I was like, you want to entertain the crazy a little bit. I'm like, there was surveillance on you? Were there other feds following you? He's like, no, they were Latin kings. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this is like a year ago. I'm like, there hasn't been a Latin king in New York. And many a moon. They're like white orcs. You just can't find them anymore. And he's like, he called the head of the Latin kings to have them stop following him. Why did I bring up that interaction with that strange person?
That was a very weird interaction.
This is something that happened. I promise you today, on God, as the kids say. It's because that type of guy is the type of guy that will get recruited for a Tulsa situation nowadays, right? All it takes is a little propaganda for someone crazy like him to go over the line. Go ahead.
I realize what it is. It's where you live.
Where I live.
It's where you live. You encounter these crazies. I don't ever see anyone with camo where I live.
Well, look where you live, bro.
Yeah, their idea of camo is a plaid shirt.
But no, that's my unreasonable fear, right? So my hope with American politics, my hope with all of this is that, I want to believe that this is the unifying thing. I would prefer that it's Christ that everyone's rallying around. But hey, if you're all going to rally around Trump and you're saying that this is going to keep you from turning and disintegrating into barbarians, we'll see what happens.
So here's what I'm saying. We are rallying around Christ. I'm telling you, we're in a full revival. Right. The numbers are going
I believe there's a revival going on for sure.
Yeah. But the thing is that we don't actually have real Christians as a choice for president. We haven't had one in a long time. Probably Jimmy Carter was the last one.
We had Ben Sasse, and he was sacrificed at the altar of Trump. Do you remember Ben Sasse? You don't remember Ben Sasse, man?
I don't.
Oh, man. Protestant guy, raised in the Protestant church, sola scriptura, man. He said one negative thing about Trump during the January 6th stuff. He's like, this is unlawful. This is not the way we handle the situation. He didn't say a bad thing about Trump. He didn't even attack his character. He just said, this is unlawful. This is not the way the conservatives, something along that effect. Man, he was cast out into the darkest shadows of wherever they send people they think are rhinos. I've never seen someone excommunicated from power so quickly, bro. He was probably the closest we're ever going to get. But I sent you some clips, by the way, so we can enjoy your celebration together, because there's a lot of funny stuff going on, too. AOC melted down over the TikTok situation. Trump is a shrewd MFer, man. He started that ban.
He is so shrewd. But you know who signed that ban? You know who signed that ban? Biden. Which is why that's what everyone's gonna remember. Right?
Trump is like the guy. Never mind. I can't even make that joke, man. Look, we got 4 people who voted in the polls and did Elon do it. 100% people in the 4 people that voted so far said yes, he did it.
Oh man. That is ridiculous. That is totally freaking ridiculous.
Bro, you don't think that was a secret dog whistle? Like Elon?
No, I don't. For starters,
he wasn't letting the boys know, like, hey man, it's about to get funky.
your AOC thing has like multiple videos. Should we watch them all?
Wait, hold on. Let me see. I the one on my screen is just the top. Oh, that's just a picture of your. That's Mandis's boo boo, by the way, everyone. He loves
Who?
her. AOC, you love her.
Oh please no.
Here, I'll send you another one.
Oh yeah. Well, let's watch this one. This is someone who's pissed about the J6 pardons. Which, by the way, that was a baller move, and I love the way he did. Did you see how Trump did it?
Did you see the Biden pardons? Did you look at the list of people?
I have seen that, and we should absolutely discuss that.
That's a very interesting list, bro.
So this guy, not only, you know, there's too many things about Biden we can criticize right now, because like, are we talking about his recent ones where he was just saying, giving blanket pardons to his family members and Fauci, if they've done any crime, any conceivable crime in the last decade, they're just totally free from that, which shouldn't be a thing.
What president?
You should have to name the crime that they're
if you're gonna pardon them, you got to tell them you got to say what they're being pardoned from, right? You know, there's no polemic. I got you.
Yeah. Just like you know, general whatever. But let's see what's going on with this dude.
The January 6th pardons are an abomination.
But with the pardons, what's your take on that?
Here's what I think. Were these people punished? Yes. Were they ruined financially? Yes. Did they spend time in jail? Yes. Have their lives been ruined? Absolutely. And one of you said earlier, Van or Axe, that you think this sends a terrible signal that you can get away with things like this, as though we've never had a moment in recent American history when people were not punished for rampaging around when they shouldn't have been. It was the summer of 2020. And these people,
Black Lives Matter.
Those people were never even charged.
Hey, that's not true at all.
That is absolutely true. In Indianapolis, a police facing was
I do see it differently in that I don't like it when people tear up buildings at all. I'm not a part of some pro-riot, pro-crime lobby. But I really don't like when people attack police officers. I really don't like it at all. I'm the son of a police officer. My uncle's a police officer. I don't like it at all. If you attack a police officer, before you get any lenience or before you get any support from this society, you should apologize. And they didn't. And that's wrong.
No, that was
and you yourself and others said you would have a problem if the violent ones were let go.
I can see it. I agree.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess you can't pardon yourself, right? Can a president give himself a blanket pardon for anything he's done? That's crazy.
Technically, he doesn't need to, as long as it's in the act of the presidency.
Right. Right. But here's what I'm saying: Biden's family is good for a decade, but Biden's only free for 4 years. For the 4 years during the presidency. I mean, it's weird. It's confusing. But like, I look at that. Look at Democrats pretend that they care about cops. That's wild. It's like I get really upset when someone does something to a cop. Yeah, right. I don't believe that.
Are you doubting the sincerity of Van's care for the police and the police and his family? Are you doing? How do you know he doesn't? That's the equivalent of I have black friends, man. I'll give him license for that. Maybe a little bit. Let's see what else happens.
And that's my problem tonight.
I agree. I don't like the idea specifically the people that attack police. I'm in agreement with you on that. But I do think it is important to note that these people, whatever they did, whether it was just accidentally walking in or doing something much, much worse.
Accidentally walking.
Ellie can correct me if I'm wrong. Most of them, if
Yo,
not
how do
all
you
of them,
accidentally
did
walk
get
up all those
punished for
stairs
some
and
kind of
into
time.
the
But
Yeah, I mean that's a bit. That's a bit. No, I heard you saying somebody just walked into the riot, and then the riot is happening. You're like, oh man, I was just hanging out here. But I think as they were approaching, it was already getting wild. People were climbing up windows and stuff. Like, if you were a good person, you would probably turn around. You'd be like, okay.
I love that one meme. When you find out you're a part of the villains, and the guy standing there is like, "We can take that building," and the other guy says to him, "And then do what? Heads on pikes," and it plays them. I mean, yeah, it only takes
assumption is virtually all of them have.
Sorry.
It only takes a little push for stuff to get cracking, right? I agree with you there, man. It only takes a little push for a rally to become a riot, to become insurrection, to a new regime. And all.
That's why I do not show up for protests. I don't do any of that stuff like that. Honestly, I think it doesn't get anything done. Basically, if you're looking for trouble, go to a protest. If you're looking to change something, go run for office.
Oh,
boom.
I like it.
Have had their lives effectively ruined by this.
Boy.
This
So
chick.
we got to talk about yet again another meltdown from the left over Trump's first day in office. Okay, some of his executive orders that he signed, promises made, promises kept. And at this point, I just believe that the left, they're going to have a hard time if they're going to melt down and move on and cry every day for the next 4 years like this.
But this is day one, unfolding pretty much the way we expected it to. And yes, this is novel in American history, but it is also knowable in world history because it's the same stuff every other would-be authoritarian leader does in every country that has had to contend with a leader like that.
Oh, boy.
And as Americans, you know, we've had bad inaugurations before, including the one where one of the principals was too drunk to stand. We've had blatant cash in envelopes to the vice president corruption before. We've had political violence before. We've had civil war.
You know about that.
But before each of those things has been treated as a calamity and a scandal.
I mean, yeah, you know what it is? The pearl clutching is a bit much for me. I'm like so over it. And also, I think they've ran the he's a fascist, he's an authoritative story into the ground where almost nobody believes it anymore. Or you just took, you're still, you're still stranded on the Democratic plantation if you believe that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not the best thing is the Democratic plantation thing. I think that's counter. But I will say this, man, you're right. They've beat that horse dead to the point where people don't trust the media, even your own constituents. I mean, not all of them. I still know diehard Democrats who still rock hard and heavy with this lady, and I forget the other woman's name. But at this point, who's listening to the accusations they're making? That's the thing you really got to consider. Like, if you're screaming from the bullhorn that he's an authoritarian, who's listening to you at this point?
Right. It's
like, is there an audience? There's an audience, and it's the audience that did not win the popular vote. Who's listening? Like, you lost people who might have listened, and now they went to the other side. The pendulum swung. They jumped on, and they were out as well.
Her ratings are so bad that she had to take a $5 million pay cut.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. This year she had to she's making $5 million less than she used to, just because MSNBC in general, their ratings are so bad. And why are their ratings so bad? I'm actually surprised. This actually surprises me. And I wonder if this is true, but obviously people are citing it's all the fake news you pitch. It's all this Trump alarmist stuff. It's all this fake news. And just another thing I just gotta say is that like I said, that Trump is that badass from a movie that we're like, only in a movie would someone be such a badass and not put up with shit. Yeah. I am just surprised that the people who are men who side with Democrats, let me put it like that. Like, those are like, what happened to your balls, bro? Because this is what the Democrats are pitching, right? And so one of the things that they're pitching is being hysterical, right? Being hysterical, right? Pearl clutching, being in shock, constantly ranting your L's. Like, you know how Dems are constantly like, the world is on fire, Trump's just doing everything, and I'm just like, man the fuck up. Even if it was true, even if half these things were true, be a man about it.
Right.
And they're not even being that. And so I don't understand how someone can side with this side who's on Van Jones, who's on Rachel Maddow, whoever likes listening to these people bitch and moan nonstop about that the world isn't the way they want it to be.
But okay, there's a point to be made here, right? And I'm listening to you, like, if they're not just moaning and groaning about the scenario, what form of action would you like them to take?
So here's what it is. The whole so here's what it is. And so this is where I'm going to be labeled like a sexist or whatever, but like, you know, there's a little something we call emotional control. And so, you know, I'm going to be speaking out against hysteria and hysterics and what type of person is usually hysterical. And so, like, for instance, when Biden won the presidential election, it was like a bummer, and people were like, "Oh, that sucks. They beat us, man," and all that stuff, and they were angry about it. They weren't hysterical. No one was like, "Biden is going to destroy America tomorrow.
Okay,
the country is going to burn to the ground."
You weren't like that, bro. You probably deleted your Facebook account, or you're not on the same algorithms I am. I would definitely say, and we're talking about what could be a bunch of anon counts, angry grannies, like your aunt that doesn't come over to Thanksgiving. But there was most certainly a lot of that type of movement on social media.
You know, I don't see it. You know, it's not my corner of the internet, and so, you know, and you know, I watch clips of Fox News or whatever. I don't really watch Fox News, but
you come on, man. You got to be honest, man. Fox News's coverage of the Biden administration was very doomsday-esque, right? Even in Protestant spaces on YouTube, and I'm not disagreeing with them because I agree with them.
Horrible. So no, I disagree with you. It was not doomsday-esque. It was comedy-esque.
Comedy-esque how?
Yeah, the running commentary about Joe Biden was not that he was going to destroy the country, was that he was a senile idiot and he was incompetent in what he did. It wasn't that he's going to destroy America. Right? And so, like I said, this pearl clutching, you know, reeks of feminine hysteria. You know?
All right, look, I'll send it to you on the side. I'm not going to do it to you on air. But
you know, honestly, if you find it, I would like to.
This time, it's a platform.
Who's the person who does that? But like,
this is textbook
look at this. She's crying. She's crying. This isn't OD,
which means today and literally over the next few days, they're going to see what they can get away with. And
lost to Obama. I remember the people crying in the audience when Obama won the presidency, bro. Like, so I might be anesthetized.
I don't know. I like you know what? I wasn't a Republican or even a moderate back then. I was Democrat, so I was like, hope. Hashtag hope.
No, this is like, you know, the only algorithm we were all dealing with. I don't even think it was sophisticated. Was MySpace back then. But I remember when John McCain had to concede, right? His concession speech. And his concession speech, you can chalk that up to a lot of things. You know, people rocked with him for that entire run. But the one thing that stood out to me was there were people crying and like holding each other. And I'd never seen anything like I've never seen anything like that in the political space. So I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that, like, I've seen it on both sides. But what I haven't seen is I haven't seen a Fox contributor crying. Right? I haven't seen that.
Right.
I haven't seen that part. What I have seen are definitely the hit pieces on both sides of the aisle. Like, this person is going to lead the country to ruin, which is why so many people are disenfranchised with a two-party system, right? There are a lot of people that the reason they're independent is because they don't trust conservative media and they don't trust liberal media. You know?
So yeah, but I'm saying it is not equal, and let's not pretend that it is equal. Now that we're even talking about this, like, you know, Robert De Niro flipping out in public and constantly having cameras on him where he's flipping out and he's cursing at Trump supporters invisible Trump supporters, because he's like, look at you fucking people. Or as many celebrities, and I know there's less conservative celebrities, but conservative, liberal celebrities constantly talking about moving out of the country. Or watch The View. There's no conservative version of The View where there are a bunch of grannies being like, "Oh my God!" It is OD. Here's what I'm saying: it is all right to mourn for your political party's loss. Right. It is all right to. It's even your right to bitch about it. And I bet you're right. Conservatives have bitch during their losses. It is never as much as the Democrats, and particularly about Trump. It's like that. Literally, that's why all the memes, all the video memes are not of conservatives losing their minds. It's of liberals losing their minds. Remember, like literally, there's a show in Australia called Lefties Losing It, where all they do are show clips of leftists acting like idiots online about conservative things.
Well, wait, you just talking about like normal people?
Yes, I'm saying their party is ridden with weak, pathetic people.
Okay, listen, I'm no friend to the leftists, but what I get to be is intellectually honest. Hey, man, remember the QAnon folks? Come on, bro. That is probably the biggest stain on.
Right, but I'm saying they were like a fringe group that don't nearly make up as much as the liberal tiers. There's literally a phrase, liberal tiers. There's no such thing as conservative tiers
because it's
not a thing.
Because you're not looking for it, man. The QAnon grannies.
No, well. Then what is the phrase for conservative tiers? Where is hashtag conservative tiers? That's not a thing.
You don't need a hashtag conservative tiers because it's a juxtapose. People look at conservatives like QAnons as psychopaths. It's not even a fringe group. They were the most vocal portion, and that's what made Trump's. Come on, man. I'm on the same team as you. But even conservative pundits had to come out and speak against the crazies in the Trump MAGA movement because, like, hey, this is not.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying: if you want to say this, conservatives are crazy and liberals are weak crybabies, that makes sense. But I'll take crazy over crybaby any fucking day.
But my point is this, man. I'm sick and tired. This is the portion of politics that I get sick and tired of. It's entertaining for sure, but it's it's this part, man, where there's no semblance of sanity guiding the ship, right? And there's short-term memory loss leading up to this frenzy thing, which is supposed to be about the betterment of the country. And in actuality, it resembles more of our love for the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that everyone that followed this thing all the way up was just fanning out, but I have a hard time doubting the sincerity of a lot of people in regards to Trump's presidency, right? I don't know if people understand well enough how the policies will impact them on a day-to-day life, but I'm here for the ride. I have no choice, but I don't think it's more crazy on one side than the other. I think they're fanatical on both sides of the table. You just have the benefit of being reasonable. So a reasonable person is usually going to avoid stuff that's like, oh, that sounds kind of crazy. Like, for instance, if a bunch of Proud Boy stuff starts coming up in your algorithm on Instagram, you're probably going to block those guys, right? Or at least you're going to look at it, laugh, and be like, all right, I should probably not click on any more of this.
Yeah, no, I only block if something is like flagrantly racist or something, something like that.
Oh, I block all types of shit. Leftist shit, curse. Stuff, yeah. Right? Conservative stuff, man. I block it because it's like I'm trying to cultivate an intellectual algorithm that brings me the best news on Hot Pockets and how to make them efficiently.
and so Dragon Lady, and she brings up a great concept to attack and to rip apart. And thank you for feeding the Dragon Lady. The statement is, how the hell did a felon become president? It's because the majority of the country does not believe he's actually a felon. Nobody believes those charges are real. He was literally convicted on charges no other human has ever been convicted of. He was the first person in history.
That's got to be
that finance law. Yeah,
that's got to be a Guinness situation.
Well, it's clearly that they pursued him ridiculously because of that. And even right now, you know how everyone's like, what happened to his punishment? Wasn't he supposed to pay all this ridiculous money? A court after the fact, an appeals court had determined that it was an excessive punishment.
Yeah.
Because it was clear that it was designed to bankrupt him so he couldn't run for president. It was absolutely designed to take him out of the running. And that's another reason why we hate Democrats. And that's another reason why the left are scum. And that's another reason why nobody believes he's actually a felon. Nobody believes that shit. And if someone's wondering, like, how did that happen? Yes, the majority of people don't care. That suppose a bunch of New Yorkers think he's a felon. Now, some people love the felony thing because they're like, it makes him a badass. You know, there's the shirts of him with like thug life tattoos or whatever and stuff. And that is funny. That is absolutely funny. But in the truth is no one really believes that that's a real, you know, that's a real thing. It's like saying, like, you know, when somebody gets arrested at a protest, and I don't mean Jan 6, I mean just like a regular protest, people are like, that guy's not a criminal. Come on. You know? He gets arrested for parking violations. Oh, okay.
It's gonna be interesting, man. Again, my official stance on this is as long as he meets the promises, right? So far, it looks like he's doing good, man. He has some interest that he has to like pay back, but you know, I'm 43 now. He'll be dead in a few years. Hopefully, he accepts the Lord before he dies, so he can get his, you know, his eternal reward. Otherwise, not. I want to care. I hope there are people evangelizing to him. I hope they're bringing truth to him, you know, but otherwise.
So, you know, it's funny. That's funny that you should say that because I feel that he is I think it is where you know, I think it is rubbing off on him. I think that his statements that he publicly makes, maybe this is what I want. Maybe I'm discussing what I want rather than the truth. I'm seeing what I want to see, but like, I think that he talks about God more often than he used to. Certainly, like when he first ran for president, like, you know what I mean? Like the word God didn't even come out of his mouth. You know.
Let's finish listening to this young. I almost called her a young man, but I'm not going to do that.
People into not opposing what they're doing and not speaking out about what's wrong with it.
My posture tonight. If you're just tuning into the Fanboy Modeling School, if there isn't someone here to represent the other side, then intellectually someone has to at least articulate their views, right? So if you're wondering, like, is Steve a leftist? No, I'm not a leftist.
Right. Standing up for them.
Like, I have to. You know, someone's got to do it. And Mantis is winning. He's been winning. Here's what it is. Yes, Steve is fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. The reason they can't fight for themselves, they're weak. Whoa, I'm not fighting for them. You better believe I'm gonna let the punch go right over my shoulder and hit you. Like, you know how you try to keep a kid from getting robbed? You're like, come on, man, he's cool, man. Oh, that's happening. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Right. Dragon Lady says he has opened so many doors. Yes, I think Trump has, and I think that's what I'm saying. He understands the importance of Christianity, and so it's not like he's gonna let us do whatever we want, but he is gonna have our back. As opposed to people who, just for a legal argument, would protect Satanists' right to put a satanic statue up. You know, which the Dems do routinely. Watching something about that the other day, man. Some pastor, LGBTQ guy, was being pressed by a conservative Catholic. It's funny that you have to quantify that. You should just be able to say Catholic. Right. Yeah. But they were going back and forth, and the Catholic had him hemmed up and said, "Hey, man, I noticed that you've affirmed and even endorsed in a positive way, like the words, the Satanic Church." And he's like, "Well, yeah, they're not really Satanists. They're atheists." He's like, "Yeah, but they've." I hate that argument. People say that they're like they just call themselves Satanists, and they're really just, you know, speaking politically and hypothetically. And they're humanists, and they're speaking hyperbolically. I'm like, yeah. And so they grab some person and drag him up on a stage and cut him up in front of the audience. You know, I don't know what city it is. Maybe next week I'll do my research and we'll talk about it. But there's a city that put up a statue of Satan in front of the town city hall. And every time they put it up, somebody rips it apart. It's been diced up with a katana blade. As they should. Yes, as they should. Yes. And
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I can't stand it when Democrats who don't even believe that, they're not part of the Church of Satan or something, but they will be like, well, for argument's sake, why not put a statue up? And I would rather side with someone who's siding with God than someone who's siding with that.
It's because they don't believe that the accuser, Satan, Lucifer is a real thing. So, and even if you didn't believe that was a real being that existed, would you not believe what people have done in its name? Like, would you not believe that? Would you not believe the views espoused by them? But I don't know.
I love that we always go back to Christianity on this show because it's funny. I had just heard probably for the first time somebody said the phrase, and this is like some phrase or whatever, that somebody says, "I don't have enough faith to be an atheist."
Oh yeah.
And I absolutely love that, but I do find it funny that the denial of the obvious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy, and the idea that there isn't a Satan is totally wild, because it's just obvious.
But you know what? It's not obvious to some people. Just like I remember before faith or anything else, man, and I was just studying human services. Human services is like the first rung in becoming someone in the psychological, the clinical community, right? Human services is like you're the water boy, right? You're
the water boy of helping people. Okay.
But I would talk to people about cognitive behavioral and things and of that nature, and they'd be like, I don't really believe in therapy and psychology. I'm like, you don't believe in a science that is based off documented cases and behavioral changes throughout history in humans? And they're like, no, I think it's all made up. And I'm like, well, what do you believe in? And then you press a person, and most times it's like anything's up for conjecture. At any rate, I want to ask you a really, really hard-hitting question, man. And this is probably going to shake you to your core.
Okay.
And this is only about you. Doesn't reflect on me at all because you've spoken on this type of stuff publicly. Smash or pass?
Oh, pass. Oh God, pass.
Hit play.
Oh.
More than ever, this is not a time to pretend this isn't happening. You're going to want to have a good
Please
answer
vote.
when you
Go
get
on.
asked what you did for your country when your country started to take a turn.
Okay,
I believe he granted full pardons to over 1,500 people who have faced criminal charges or been in jail or currently in jail due to January 6th, including the individuals who were roughing up police officers. Yeah, and that is sparking a whole lot of controversy and backlash from not just the mainstream liberal media, but also the Democrats as well too. Okay, who are
so here's the thing. I don't even agree with that. With this, that what's happening here. I clearly he pardoned them all, and he made a big deal about blindly pardoning everybody. Clearly, as a political statement, he was saying "F you, lefties." Everyone gets passed over. I think, obviously, if I was in his place, I would have reviewed every case and been meticulous about who I give a pardon to or not.
About it. You would have used a politically oriented mind, is what you're saying, right? You would have, and there's an instance where playing politics is entirely necessary, especially when you're dealing with a topic as volatile as this, which is why when we eventually do get to the Elon Musk thing, in the Steve's presidency, I'd hire a guy like you, and here's what I would want you to do, right? Anyone that would damage what we are building is to be forcibly removed from my vicinity or off the stage. You make one mistake that jeopardizes what we're building on publicly or privately, and you got to go, right? And I'm not even going to give you but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
And the fact that he blindly did it without even looking at the cases and stuff.
Four times. He did it 4 times. Like the first time when we were talking about it with Shaolin, I was like, this is clearly a mistake. He's autistic. He's European. Those two things are synonymous, actually, in my opinion. But when I saw him do the whole turn and he's doing it, I'm like, oh man, that is bad.
But here, let's see what.
are having a hard time going through
Welcome
the
in, Bex.
mental gymnastics to justify Biden issuing pre-pardons, right, for his family and others
Pre-pardon.
who may have committed crimes. But somehow, some way, we're supposed to be upset about Trump pardoning the January 6th protesters.
Can I ask you, because on that point, I want to get you to respond to this, because what I'm already hearing from people who work for Trump and are his allies is that there's really no leg for the Democrats don't have a leg to stand on, because President Biden leaving today, issued a raft of pardons, including for his own family members and his sister and his brothers and their spouses, and then also for an activist, an elderly activist who is convicted of killing 2 FBI agents. Chris Wray did not even want him to commute that sentence that President Biden did today. They say that doesn't give Democrats an argument here to criticize these pardons. What is your response to that?
I mean, I think that's the mistake we're seeing now, is people trying to reduce this to tribalism.
You can't hear me.
This is not about Democrat or Republican. Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain what he did and his reasoning. But the people he pardoned, his family members, did not, before the naked public eye, beat police officers, try to overthrow our government, lead to the death.
What does the crime matter? Clearly, he's pardoning his family members. Biden's pardoning his family members because they were up to something. And he thinks someone's going to discover it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have something that's deeply philosophical and groundbreaking to say.
Okay.
And I hope that you receive this truth, man, because it's relevant to what we're talking about. That chick right there used to date a black guy.
Yeah, how do you know that?
I saw a picture of them together getting off.
Oh, I thought you were like the way she talks to him.
No. She used to. No, this is an actual thing. I'm not making some broad statement.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't look like the type. Yeah, Dragon Lady asked, "Can you believe in Satan and not believe in God?"
Yes. Actually, it's funny that you say that. You, by omission, your deeds and your actions, whether you believe he exists or not, affirm his very existence. Both ways. So the Bible tells us that you repress the knowledge of God, right? You suppress it. But all the evidence that you need is surrounding you. And that's true of all of us, myself included, man. I've fallen away, done horrible things. But when you do horrible things, and I don't want to give the impression that this is like a duality thing, like Satan and God are yin and yang. That's not how that works. But when you do horrible things, to whom do you think that glory goes to? Now, whether you believe in them or not, it's like, yeah. I want you to know everyone 100% agrees that Elon did it. Like he did.
He didn't do it. We'll talk about that.
Death of police officers and have injuries, scars, both visible and invisible, on police officers that are still affecting their lives.
From hard hats to steel-toed boots, Granger's got your safety needs covered.
Today.
No,
this is not about left or right in our country. We can't just say this is a tit for tat, or their side did it, so my side can do it. No, this is about the values and principles that we should all be looking to uphold, the institutions of our government themselves, that these people on that day tried to overthrow.
Bex said, did we discuss all the freaking trash these losers left on the beautiful streets of DC? Then they got mad when the locals were going through their stuff.
Well,
have you ever been to DC before as an adult?
Unfortunately, and so I don't have a lot of great experiences with it. No offense, Bex. I will tell you a really quick story. So the reason why I used to go there is when I used to live down in Charlottesville, Virginia. There was a cheap way to get home, right? And so I would take a Greyhound from Charlottesville to DC.
Okay.
And then I would hop on the Chinatown bus. Chinatown bus is $20 to any city in the area. And you just jump on, and $20 to New York City. Boom, from DC. That's like saving me like $100 or something. And so the first time I did it, I get to the Greyhound, and I'm like, I think I know where it is, and I have no reason. I don't know why I chose this. I walked the wrong direction, and so for those who don't know, DC is like, people are like, oh look, it's where the White House is. The White House is like a few blocks from the hood. Like you could easily end up in the hood. Right? And so I walked the wrong direction, and I was like, I was deep in the hood, and I was like, and New York has had some. In the 2000s, we've had our hoods have gotten solved, but DC was still feeling it, man. So
they were so very in the 2000s.
And I was like, oh man, where the hell am I? What's happening? And a trans lady of the night came up to me and was like, "You lost," and I was like, "Yes, I am." And she was like, "Come with me," and I just followed her. And she walked me out of the hood, and I was like, "Thank you." I gave her $5.
Give her $5 is wild. That is crazy. You need to repent of that. Man, just like, I thank you for your services.
Yeah, she didn't want to see me get murdered or whatever. I was gonna get murdered because I saw the way the hoodies were eyeballing me, and I was carrying bags, and I was like, I'm getting beaten today. I'm getting beaten.
Oh
down.
man, hoodies. That's a term I haven't heard in a while, man. Bex is dying.
Corner boys. The corner boys.
Let's stop with the rank partisanship. The President of the United States of America has just pardoned people who physically attacked, violently led to the death of officers like.
He didn't listen. He didn't answer her question, though. You obviously dodged the part where the leader of his party and former president, did some crime. So,
bro, this woman looks like she's staring in my soul right now with ill content. Like she believes nothing you tell her. You're like, did you eat the last bit of cheese, babe? No. And she's just looking at you. You're not getting that vibe right now? Like, uh-oh.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was. Yeah, I was.
He is made in the state legislatures. And one senior Dem state legislator from out west texted me and said, he literally just let his private militia out of jail. He said he's instilled a sense of loyalty. These people feel loyal to him.
These are wild. These are absolute wild statements. And here's what it is. It is loyalty.
Okay, go for it.
Here's what it is. Yeah. Here's what it is. And I think it should be commended. As much as I criticize that he did a blanket thing, I think it's cool that he didn't forget his people. He was like, they fought for me, I'll fight for them.
It is a type of loyalty you typically don't see with politicians. Remember when Joe Biden got elected and he was like, and black people, you've always had my back, so I'll get you back on the bus. I mean, I'll always have yours.
And actually, that's a good question. In the last 4 years, has he done anything for black people?
That's a sore subject, man. This is why I've always told my people.
Hasn't done anything for me. Done something for you?
No, vote your interest. But I can't really say that Trump has done anything for me either. So now I got my deals. I got my wares on the, I know what I want. I know what I need, right? And that's what I'm saying. This is a logical place I'm coming from, Mantis. I don't want you to think it's emotional. I don't have blue hair anymore. I got a logical. There are certain things I need to see done for my family and yours, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's all I care about, man.
I know, I feel you, but I feel like personally, I honestly think that what he did, his move, defining men and women and making only two genders like in the thing, that has already a great achievement in my opinion. Something that I don't think the left would have had the balls to do. I mean, Kamala would have never done that. I don't think that those are her politics.
Let's be frank about something, man. There was no chance of her ever winning the presidency. Like, even in the moments where I thought she had it, I realize now that I was just looking at the way they were skewing the information. I don't think there was, based off of this, based off the data we have, there was never a chance. No one was listening. And that blows my... Do you quite comprehend what I'm saying to you? With the most impressive media machine behind you, right?
Right.
No one was listening. So that's something
she had way more money than him. She had all this thing. She had the media working for her. Every celebrity and their mother was like.
But it also trickles down to the things that they were pushing, right? No one's listening. right? Just let that sink in for a second. Transgender rights. No one's listening.
Right.
People, hands down, voted against everything you stood for, or you at least purported to stand for. No one's listening. So I'm not surprised at the reaction we're seeing from a lot of liberal media members, because it's like, are they really worried about what he's going to do or their station in life? I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. They're worried about losing their power.
It's going to get dark. Now, actually, I don't know who this sister is. This is the first time I've ever seen her, so I got no shade for her.
But, you know, the fact that she said he released his militia. For starters, he probably does. Here's what I'm saying. He already has militia, and they're all over the place, and they're not these guys. I'm telling you, he is like real killers out there.
You can tell these people have never played D&D before. You throw a good roll, you get your guys out. You get your guys out.
Exactly. I completely understand why he was like, gotta save my people.
Is now going to go unchecked, and he can now call on them again to do what they would like. So I know a lot of Democrats have mixed feelings about the president's preemptive pardon of his family specifically. President Biden. Yeah, a lot of presidents around here. Steph, you gotta be specific now.
Do for your people, man. Am I crazy? Do you see what your Uncle Steve is trying to teach you folks now? Let this be a lesson. If you're going to run Democrat, learn from Trump. Apparently, doing for the people who ran up on the building for you.
Exactly. And you know, honestly, and also for us who are into content and stuff like that, let's get real. That is going to spark so many great interviews. Particularly, Joe Rogan's probably going to be able to interview any of these guys. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like the leader of the Proud Boys, he got 22 years.
Bro, his mom was tweeting up a storm, and as she should, man. How many mothers have seen their children get out of prison on a presidential pardon? You know?
That shouldn't. Like, I'm sorry, pardon my French. That never happens. That never happens. You know, when they're like, we're waiting on the governor for the pardon, and I'm like, oh, you idiot. You know, it's not coming. It is not coming. And this is the one time it came.
So apparently we now have a politician who said he was going to do something for a group of people, did that thing. So we're going to put that in a chalk. Now, how you feel about that thing and that group of people, we have to leave that out, right? We're just looking at, remember at the onset of the show, I was like, if you have something to say about Biden, what he's done, and you want to represent that, go ahead and do that. So for Trump right now, we're going to chalk off, in spite of feelings and who it was done for, he's done something for his constituency. Would we agree on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one check for Trump. All right, let's go.
So no nothing else has earned a check. This is the only thing that's earned a check.
No. There are more checks. There are more checks, but we got to talk about like the people. We got to bring it to a common ground where liberals will understand.
I understand the concerns that people had, but I also understand what the president said is that you know, the incoming president, President Trump, has promised a special prosecutor to go after, look into the Biden family. And so what he did is respond to the climate. If the lawmakers don't like it, put a check on the president and pass a bill, okay? And curb the pardon powers. But until that happens.
Yeah. So again, as always, we have the same old game that Democrats like to play, okay? It's always the whataboutism game, okay? When Democrats are called out for their corruption, that they claim they're above, by the way, right? They never take accountability and responsibility for the corruption. They just say, well, you can't criticize.
He even surprised some Republicans with sweeping pardons to the January 6th insurrectionists, including Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and other violent rioters. But he wasn't thrilled about Biden issuing pardons of his own on the way out.
What was that?
Oath Keepers is a dope name. We should have took that as Christians.
Oath Keeper. Yeah, that is a dope name.
Take a look.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Said hostages.
Full pardon.
Should there be punishment for the people who assaulted law enforcement officers that day?
Well, I will say this. They've been in jail for a long time already. What they've done to these people is outrageous. I was surprised that President Biden would
Good night, Dragon
go
Lady.
and pardon his whole family because that makes him look very guilty. How about this J6 committee? Why is he pardoning them? They were guilty as hell. They rigged it. It was a rigged deal.
So in Trump's world, the lawmakers trying to protect democracy are thugs, and the lawbreakers are hostages. Do I have that right?
You have it right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
your thoughts.
He clearly doesn't know what a hostage is because there are still hostages right now in the Middle East. They were terrorized by Hamas and have not all come back. So that's a hostage. You can't use that term loosely. These people committed crimes.
It's kind of tacky right now in particular.
Especially right now. But this is the justice system at work. When we talk about guardrails, you said no one's there to check him. His own vice president, J.D. Vance, said a week ago that if you committed violence on that day, January 6th, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. His attorney general last week said, I condemn any violence on a law enforcement officer in this country. 60% of Americans don't agree with pardoning them. This was the biggest middle finger he could give the entire country out of all of his options.
Because he's gangster. Because he's a gangster. Like I said, he's a badass. He's a gangster. He told people to go F themselves.
But there was a little bit of politicking on his part, higher brow than I'm used to seeing him do. When they asked him, should the people be released who committed violent acts against police? He's like, well, they have been in prison. They've been locked up for a long time. I think the next step on that statement should have been, how much time should they have been behind bars for assault on a peace officer?
Right.
And how long have they been locked up? So January 6th happened when? What year was that?
So what was that? That was in 20. Yeah, it was January 2020, right? So
was it 2020?
Yeah.
Holy
so
fuck.
4 years. 4 years. The most anyone's been in there for 4 years. But remember, they did hunt them down. It is true they ruined their lives in other ways, right? And so, but you are right. Assault. I mean, I'm saying people get. There are a lot of people who don't get even 4 years for assault.
That's true. 2021 to be exact. January 6, 2021. So
Okay.
2025 now. If they've been behind bars, that's 4 years. So we'd have to do a little jailhouse rock math on time served, for good behavior. What level were they locked up on? These are all things you need to take into consideration.
Right, absolutely.
Mainline, were they in county? So I'll get back to you guys on this, and then I will decide for you if this was an appropriate amount of time. Because if they were all in Supermax in prison, like the grannies.
Yeah, I'm just saying the fact that they gave 22 years to the Proud Boys leader is crazy. That's OD.
I mean, but you can't be organizing stuff.
So fine, if tag on a few extra years, but I mean, like 22 years. That's a man's life right there. You know, let's see.
I think at the end of the day, the biggest middle finger that was given to this country was during the BLM riots, in which you have violent protesters who were not punished. In fact, some of them got paid. They got paid money, okay, because the cops roughed them up a little bit too much, right? So
this is going to be a mess of things.
We have seen
what I'm about to say is
political riots and protests that have got.
Then please say it.
This is a messed up thing to say, man, because I actually enjoy this guy's content, right? But he does have the cadence of what you would suspect an Uncle Tom would have. And I would like to help him with that cadence because I don't think he is an Uncle Tom. But doesn't it sound like he has that cadence? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Bex, you get what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that he is, but he has the cadence of someone. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it just sounds like someone that says, well, why you need to sit on the white side? And I'm like,
right.
Whoa.
He's Uncle Ruckus or whatever. No, I feel you. You watch this guy a lot?
Yeah, I watch a lot of his stuff, man. And again, leading up to the election, I was watching him. I was watching Young Turks. You know, I was just trying to keep a balanced perspective to see what people were reporting on in our space. I wasn't watching the news, right? I was just consuming a lot of content from right and left, progressive and hyper-conservative places to see how it was being handled on what is new media and the only media that counts now, man. I think we can both say at this point, this is the only media that counts. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I absolutely know what you mean.
the
Yeah,
cable
absolutely.
networks don't realize that Troy has been destroyed. They're like that one soldier you see in Saving Private Ryan that's walking around on the beach looking for his arm as if
Right, he's just looking for. Yeah, that's a great analogy. They do not realize. They have no idea, and they actually thought they could fix this election. Epic fail on their part.
I thought they could fix it. I thought, wait, you don't want to see Sonny flip out? You live for Sonny flip.
Because I'm saying, just because of the time, I wanted to get to a very important.
You want to get to Elon?
Yeah, because we have to discuss Elon.
What's up, Carmen?
Hey, Carmen, what up?
Carmen says, hopefully I didn't miss anything. Did you guys already talk about my Poppy Trump?
Yeah, we're still talking about him.
We're still talking about it.
We're still doing right now. We're talking about what a lot of people do not want to give Elon a pass on this one. It was a truly not thought out gaffe. However, everyone wants to say he's some sort of secret Nazi that nobody knew about yet. So
I mean, he fits the sci-fi bill of a villain, right? Like, it's just like, surprise! I've been poisoning him. He's a robot. I control you all.
But if you watch what he's saying and how he's moving his arms and stuff like that, he's not in control of anything. And so let's watch. Look, already his stupid arm movement.
He's like that one little weird kid at the birthday party.
Yeah, because remember, he is on the spectrum. Something to think about. Look at how goofy his arms are.
Yes! This is what victory feels like.
I agree, Dean.
Yeah. And this was no ordinary victory. This was a fork in the road of human civilization. Okay. This there are elections that come and go. Some elections are, important, some are not. But this one this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
He's from your heart.
My heart goes out to you.
My heart goes
It
out
is
to you.
thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
Run it back.
Thanks to you.
Folks, if you don't see,
We're going to have safe cities.
Yeah, we're going to do this
Safe cities
forensically.
My heart goes out. This one really mattered.
Yeah, this
and I
one's
just
gonna
want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
That one looked bad. That one looked real bad.
That one
My
looked
heart
even
goes
worse.
out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization.
But then he
is assured.
says, "My heart goes out to you."
Thanks to
you. His heart goes out to you. Do you see? And I think a lot of people are seeing what they want to see, right?
In Steve's presidency, the way that's supposed to go down is my fixer shoots Elon in the head, and then my true plans unfurl in front of the world. I come up on the teleprompter, and I'm like, I am a villain, and now you'll all pay for turning me into an idol. Like, that's the way that goes down. But honestly, publicly, man, it doesn't matter at this point, right? And I want to make sure you understand why I say it doesn't matter. He's already won. He's already won, man. Like, it doesn't matter if Elon messes up, if anyone says anything crazy, the whole thing is crazy. But you got to admit, man, just in a public sphere space, that's, like, that's, if you were there live, the first thing, what would you do if you were there live?
Well, when he did the first one, I was like, uh-oh. But however, I do like his argument after that.
See, here's a good thing, man. I don't know if you all are familiar with.
Okay, this garbagey program that I'm using to run this stream is not sharing the image that I wanted to share. So, so there is an image. There is an image of it shows Hillary like this. It shows Kamala like this. It shows George W. like this. and Barack Obama like this, and it says, "Are they all Nazis?"
Send me the image. I'll share it for you. It's, I mean, but you have to admit, right? Like, it's a funny thing, man. I was talking to a.
It is funny. It's definitely hysterical. I don't think this poor Astro Boy is a Nazi or something. I think people are looking to find some fault. I admit it. He should have controlled himself better. That was a stupid thing to do, I'm sure he thought it was harmless. I sent it on.
Why is Vivek not front and center? He's the only guy that should be speaking at this point, man. Elon, mute, and it should be Vivek. It's like sending in your D-lister. Yes, Elon's got all the money, but send in Vivek. Vivek will never fail you. Can you pull up one clip of Vivek doing anything to endanger this presidency? Do you have one? Can you find one?
I know. Well, I'm saying I wanted him to be president straight up. He was my original choice. Carmen says Elon was really excited about this. He's quite the character, isn't he? Yes. Max says, now see, I would gladly accept his money behind the scenes, but he wouldn't be on my damn mic. He's doing too much. Yeah, no, supposedly behind the scenes, people say that Trump's annoyed by him.
I don't believe that one bit.
Here we go. So we've got a whole bunch of people, Democrats.
Yeah, but
Kamala, Barack.
Wait, but it has to be video format. We have to have them all doing the chest thing and then hitting it.
I admit, let's see if they did that. But I bet you Hillary just straight up did it. There's no doubt in my mind on that one.
I get what you're saying.
Carmen says he's pouring out his heart. Is he pouring his heart? What do you guys? I think he's pouring out his heart. Hold on. Carmen says I was laughing the whole time. A black elder would have clenched her teeth and told Elon to sit your ass down.
You're ruining it, Elon. Someone send the good son out. But Vivek is who you need front and center. If I'm any public policy that has to do with those two, I'm like, from this moment forward, I'm like, Elon, what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna be the big boy in the background. And we give big boys big responsibilities. And the big boy with the big responsibility doesn't have enough time to talk.
You're getting us to Mars and you're doing all the math.
Yeah.
And Vivek does all the talking.
And don't you worry, buddy. Since you're getting us to Mars, we're going to let you get some more mic time in the future.
But it does sound like you're giving him a pass, right?
What, Elon? I give no passes because I don't have to get involved. Like, I leave it to you, the people. It doesn't matter what I say. I just thought it was hilarious on multiple layers. Because
this is the one true gaffe. Everyone was trying to slam everybody. Like, for instance, you heard about what happened with Carrie Underwood?
Who the hell is Carrie Underwood?
So she's a low-level country singer. She won one of those singing competitions, which is why how those people become famous, but they're not really famous.
Yeah.
So she was gonna sing America the Beautiful, right?
Yeah,
and so
I know
right in the inauguration they're gonna do that, and so she's up there. They start the music goes on for a second, and then it dies out.
Oh no!
And she's waiting, and you can tell everyone's waiting. You can tell they're having technical difficulties, and so then suddenly she goes, "You know what? I'm just going to sing it a cappella. You guys know the word, join me." And she sings this beautiful rendition, and everyone in the room is singing with her. It was utterly beautiful. She saved the show. It was well done.
Nice.
And then people, a lot of leftist news outlets are like, the music problems with Carrie Underwood's show is a future prediction of the chaos that is going to Donald Trump's presidency is going to bring, and they had to put a negative slant on it. But they couldn't give this girl her flowers.
No, I'll give her flowers, man. That's amazing. Way to save the moment. I have no issue with Carrie Underwood or anything like that, man. Way to save it. But come on, man. If I'm Trump, right? I'm trying to dominate, right? We already got in here. Now I'm trying to dominate for the next 4 years. Can't have Elon's, like I said, like Elon, hey, buddy, come over here. Look, we got milk, we got chocolate, we got you some
you offered him milk.
We got diaphragms for you to work on. You want to go on Joe Rogan again, buddy? Pretend to smoke weed? We got you.
Yo, my man Joe over here says, I don't even know what, but of course Elon did it. You don't know what? Joe, you must have heard what happened. And it was well done. She rescued that shit. Yeah, it was well done. It was absolutely well done. They always got something to say. But yeah, no, he loose cannon the way he and welcome in, Joe. Thank you for coming to the stream.
Hey, Joe, I don't know you, but welcome in.
Elon, the way in general, the way he tweets is already problematic. It's not just that he did a Nazi salute by accident at a rally. He says crazy things on Twitter, and it gets him in trouble, and he just needs to kind of chill.
Right.
For his own business sake, he should chill, but also for Trump's sake, he should chill. And I agree with you. Someone should have a word with him and be like, yo, can you be a little less public?
Bro, where is Vivek? I just don't understand, man. Why are you hiding the brown missile?
He said just an awkward bro moment, says Joe.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the rumor is? The rumor is that Vivek doesn't want to share the Doge organization with him, with Elon, that they're having issues, and that Vivek is going to try to run for governor of Ohio instead.
It's already falling apart. I don't like that. You need someone reasonable in the room. I need to work on more things. Let's not
actually Vivek. And it's funny that I'm saying that.
Name Vivek. Say it.
I don't know how anyone pronounces anything, but I'm going to go with the first pronunciation I ever did. But basically, I'm a fan of Elon, but I admit that he says stupid things and he needs to shut up. He needs to stick to getting rockets to Mars.
So that's the equivalent of shut up and dribble for Elon, right?
Yeah.
Shut up and get the rockets to the Mars. Shut up.
And so, but you heard about the other drama that Elon is facing before this, right?
No, what's going on?
And I'm going to give a shout out to Grimes tonight, his baby mama, who he's having issues with. But she still came to his defense. So check this out. He is considered the number 2 player in Paths of Exiles 2.
Who is?
The video Elon, right?
Wait, now, the game that's advertised on YouTube? That game?
Yeah. And
like,
so
I'm sponsored by Paths of Exile, and I
yes. And so he's considered the number 2 player. And so people supposedly have brought evidence. I don't know what the evidence is because I don't pay close enough attention, that he uses Chinese farmers.
Okay.
That he's really working, he's not really playing. And so everyone is making a big deal out of this. They're like, you lied to us, Elon. You lied to us. And so his baby mama, Grimes, who he's always fighting with, right? His baby mama, he has many baby mamas, but that's his main baby mama.
Is that the crazy woman?
Yeah, she came forth on Twitter and she said, although I didn't see him play Paths of Exiles, I've seen him do all these other video game achievements. And she listed all these video games that he's good at. And then he was like, thanks. And all this stuff and stuff.
What does Grimes do? What is this?
Well, she's a pop. Well, she was a pop star. She used to. She had.
So she's just a baby mama, is what you're saying. Okay, you could have just said that. She's Elon's baby mama.
She's a pop star who got knocked up by a billionaire. So basically, she won the game of life. She's had, I think, 3 of his kids now. So she's set. Even though they're not together anymore, like.
I just realized what the problem is. Elon doesn't have enough bitter red pill men in his life that could have prevented such a thing from happening to him. Like that. One Andrew Tate in his life would have prevented something like that from happening. But God bless him. Now he's got his children.
Yes.
Man, it's an interesting time to be alive, man.
It's a crazy, interesting time to be alive, right? So like. And I think my sister called me on this one, that like she identified that She was like, Mantis, you embrace the chaos. You just enjoy the chaos. And that is true. Anytime something goes crazy with the Trump administration, I'm laughing. Everyone else is crying.
Right.
And I'm like, this is the best show. This is like a free movie we're watching right now.
But that's my core issue is I needed to go beyond the show. I will be the conscientious objector, man. Like someone has to remain like, hey, man, you said you were going to do some things. I need to see those things done. So we got a couple of notches out the gate, coming out swinging, looking good, right? Got 4 years. 4 years. In fact, this isn't even my original opinion. Go check out a dude by the name of James White over on the Dividing Line. 4 years of a reprieve if you have a certain worldview. Here's what I'm hoping, man, that within 4 years, things get shored up in a way that the country can move forward. Move forward. That's what Steve was looking for. If you're with me, when I announce my presidency, which will most certainly be the most corrupt presidency and running you've ever seen, like, come join me. Would you vote for me, Mantis? I think you'd vote for me.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be your campaign manager.
I want you to be my press secretary, bro. I demand that you just straight up murder someone right
I'll get in front of them. I'll be like, what? I look at the press. I'm like, you. What? What's your question? And then they say something. You go, don't be a dumbass. Next question.
Oh man.
But yeah. So the Trump. What?
We couldn't find the AOC clip because I really want to talk about the TikTok thing, man. And I know that TikTok going down.
I mean, let's talk about. We don't necessarily need clips to talk about what's going on. So
no, but I think it was interesting that AOC. I gotta admit, AOC has really grown on me. Her and Trump are meant for each other. Like, yo, there is not a better combination of people who rep for their sides on X than Trump and AOC.
Well, so
it's like Jordan and John Starks, right? Or Jordan and Magic Johnson, or Jordan and any other bum that's ever come up against him. AOC and Trump, they bring the best out of each other. And it's amazing.
Yeah, my whole take on this, and this is funny because I believe this, including politicians that I don't even agree with. But I will tell you this: the best politicians are like AOC, basically anyone in the squad, right? Anyone in the squad with AOC, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Donald Trump. And why are they the best politicians? Because they represent their constituents better than anyone else. These people will never take a moderate view. They will take a fanatical opinion on the people they represent. And therefore, they represent the people better than anyone.
Absolutely.
I think AOC, most of the things she says is just garbage. She's such an idiot. However, she fights for her people. Those people may be morons.
Who are her people exactly? Have we established
upper class white people in residential Queens and Bronx?
Wrong. She's for the Boricuas.
Do you really believe that, though?
I mean, those are the people who live in that community that voted for her, bro.
Well, no, I believe a bunch of white ally liberals empowered her. Basically, they were like, we choose you because, let's face it,
yeah.
How belligerent is she? If you know what I mean. I think she appeals to white people, is what I'm saying. And so I think wealthy white people.
Other successful minority did. She went out and found herself a snow bunny the minute she found him.
Yes, exactly. Oh, there we go.
It's like I cannot have any leave anything to chance. Let me get this queued up.
Let's see what she has to say.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration?
Oh, this is not it.
Let me make myself clear.
This is still good.
I don't celebrate this. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration room. So what does this mean for us? Well, we are on the eve of an authoritarian administration. This is what 21st century fascism is starting to look like.
They bring out the best in each other. Like, she's always laying on a couch. Like she's always...
Yeah, her live stream. She does live streams all the time. Apparently, she's always messed up. You know, I do my hair when I do a live stream.
Right.
This chick is like, you know. By the way, Pokey points out, he says Paz of Exile News isn't out for the public yet.
Oh,
which means only small. That means a small. If he's the second best in the world, that's only out of a small group of people. Right?
Over the weekend, while we were just chilling, minding our own damn business, many of you noticed that all of a sudden TikTok went dark. That's right. TikTok went dark.
Wait,
there were a
pause that.
number of questions about this. People thought,
did she just say that? Is this the dumbest person in the world? She didn't get the memo that it was closing down. People had countdowns on their websites, and so they countdowns, and she's like, "It went dark all of a sudden." It's news to her that. Okay, go on.
that Biden was going to try to make some change here. I don't know why people thought that, because he signed the bill. Then Donald Trump was saying that he could try to save TikTok. So let's get into a couple of things that happened. AOC released this video here, and I don't know if everyone saw this, explaining what happened in Congress with the TikTok ban. Let's get into this here.
Since this is coming up soon. Last year, when they brought this ban up for a vote, number one, they said it's a national security issue. It's a national security issue. I said, okay, that's serious. Let's see the case. Let's see the intelligence. Let's see what's going on. I can tell you that what was presented to all of the members voting on this thing was not very compelling. Like there was no real information that was given that was a smoking gun, that was anything specific. It was very vague, not convincing, and frankly, it was not convincing to many of our members as well.
Okay. So
wait, what?
Yes. Yep. You heard it. You heard that right. Yeah.
So basically, because that's crazy. So then why are we banning it? Like, what is the whole thing? She said there was no smoking gun. And so what do you think? Let's start our conspiracy theory minds. What do we think it is?
I think there might have been, in conspiracy theory mind, there might have been a threat or worry that so many Americans were jumping on an app that's so closely tied with one of our rivals, and that's the denominator right there. It's like, hey, if you want to open up an opportunity for there to be a data breach, that seems like the most appropriate one. But hell, if you idiots want to give away your information, and I'm not entirely sure what the Chinese are going to do with my viewing habits on TikTok and my bad credit score, but whatever they want to do, clone me, do whatever you want. But I think that was the denominator. Now, the history as I recall it, when this was being pushed, was because they are a rival and the potential threat. But we're America. Potential threats are what we respond to, and that's how we keep the world safe. That's how we keep the world safe. You got to have someone saying, someone might be doing something somewhere at some point in some time, and we need to be ready to respond.
You need an enemy, basically. People respond better to an enemy than vagaries, right? And so
we need the aliens, man. We need the aliens. We need those little gray bastards.
Friends with the aliens. I want to be friends with the aliens.
You just want to have coitus with the aliens.
I don't, because I don't want an alien disease on my dick. Are you kidding me, bro? No, I don't want, unless they're hot. But here's what I'm saying: all signs point to them being ugly. The point is that, like, I hope. Trust me, we don't want to be enemies with an advanced civilization.
No.
Right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we
China.
do.
But China, I'll fight China all day.
In fact, very high-ranking members on the House Foreign Affairs Committee came to me after the briefing And they were very shocked and pretty surprised at the lack of substantive information in the briefing. They were genuinely expecting there to be some real or compelling intelligence shared that would substantiate the argument.
Okay. So what that means, if that is the case, what that means is that members of Congress voted on a bill that they were unsure about, or voted on a bill that they did not understand. If our Congress members are actively voting on pieces of legislation.
Why does that surprise anyone? It's literally made up of a bunch of legit boomers who would use the services at Geek Squad. That is what, like, they don't know how to open a PDF file. They don't know what an Excel file is. Like, why?
Here's it is. I'm gonna use a particular part of my own family experience, and normally I don't share this stuff, but like for instance, today was like the 20, like maybe not 20th time, maybe the 10th time that I was going over with my stepfather how to use the cable remote.
Ooh.
And so that's what I'm talking about. We got a new brand of cable. We switched, and just because the remote is different, he has trouble using it. And that's an example of what I'm saying is that, like, you're right. Boomers don't like. It's crazy how the inability to use an app they have. They don't know what's going on.
Have you seen that one clip of, I think it's a representative from TikTok talking to some committee member, and he's like, "Can TikTok access my home Wi-Fi?" And the
yes,
guy's
that was the craziest scene ever. And like I remember the guy, because they're asking literally the owner of TikTok if TikTok can access his home Wi-Fi, and he's like, "Oh," and he doesn't know how to explain like. And I'm sure he wanted to be like, "Do you know what Wi-Fi is?" And so yes, this is the problem with boomers, right? Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about, right?
Me and Mantis just play at being old. We are actually a part of a generation that is young, right? We listen to the same music that a lot of kids listen to. They may consider it retro, but we share that in common, right? For God's sakes, we're radio personalities. RizRadio.com. Make sure you tune in.
Forever young, I want to be forever young.
People who make decisions about your life, who ask questions like, if I download this app on my phone, will the app be able to access the Wi-Fi point in my home? And the response you have to get to these people is, well, no, not unless you toggle that on. But if you feel more secure just using your cellular data. But to this woman's point, they signed something they didn't understand. And apparently it's not just boomers. And I guess this kind of lends credence to your view of AOC's intelligence level. Because I would expect her to, at the very least, be like, what are we going after here exactly? Like, is there some concrete evidence that they are mining data?
Right.
And what type of data are they mining exactly?
And so they don't know what questions to ask or what's going on. And they probably just fear the kids using TikTok, right?
Yeah,
that's probably
as a propaganda machine for sure. But don't worry, only people who get attacked on TikTok are Christians. So the American government should be fine.
AOC is safe.
And why are they there? This is the question that people need to ask. 2, I also kind of don't buy this that they didn't fully understand, and I'll explain why. I have been talking about the TikTok ban for months. Corporate media, all 2024. Watch Independent. Most of them was revealing that does you use and access your data. So the bill that should have been brought to the floor was something in reference to that, not to ban an app. We are looking at a grave danger when it comes to citizen censorship in this country. And that is exactly what this is. The fact that the government could shut down an app that most people are using to do dances, that's what most of the videos are. The government, the power of the government.
And
so if I could, let's pause it real quick. So here's my counter to that, though. Although I believe all the information you're sending me to right now, it is making me reevaluate my general thought about the TikTok situation. But here's how I would like to counter everyone who's saying it's a freedom of speech matter.
Okay.
So what it is freedom of speech is something that is given to the people of America, not foreign entities operating outside of the country. And so they don't have the right to freedom of speech. We here in America do. So if China is like wants to say all sorts of crazy things, the government has the right to shut that down.
I get what you're saying. So you're saying if a foreign government introduces a platform that allows them to say negative things about our government, we have the right, just like any other government, to protect ourselves, blah, 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 that type of thing. I got you. Yeah. Hey, I want you to know that the poll has moved. We're at 8 votes now. So that's officially how many people we had in the audience. 12% said no. Elon did not do the thing.
Oh, look at that.
Did you vote?
No. But now that I know there's hope. Before I was like, look at these haters.
Wasn't, and they were surprised at the lack of information.
Now it's up to 22%.
And then also, additionally, this bill, which is very large and substantive, like in terms of its impact, came to the Energy and Commerce Committee. It was marked up and it was brought to the floor like in a matter of, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks. I'm trying to remember. Was it just a few weeks, which is very, very fast. Very. Additionally, the degree to which corporations surveil the American people without genuine consent and without real mechanisms for opting out should be illegal, point blank, period.
Yeah,
and
because
so
they're
many
really
of us
saying
naturally
we can fly, but
said
China can't.
the answer is not just playing endless whack-a-mole with apps. The answer is that we should have real privacy legislation in the United States, and we should help.
And there it is. Isn't it funny? I'm going to use a term that's a very hot button term. And again, I'm just some guy in the basement filming a podcast with my best friend, where the intersections of thought happen. So if you'd have told me that AOC would have been speaking about privacy, which sounds like the way that JD Vance speaks about privacy, right? I would have never believed you. I would have never thought there would have been an intersection there. But there it is. I play the long game.
And here's the problem with the surveillance situation. This is the problem. In order for the people to care about the surveillance situation, because it's clear that most people don't really care that they know or they have an inkling that the government is spying on them through their technology, but we all talk about it. My phone's been listening to me. My phone knows when, that's why ads come up of things I talk about, stuff like that. But the problem is people have a general ignorance of technology. And so because the idea is like what they don't know can't hurt them. Right. Yeah. And so in order for them to combat that, like, for instance, in order to have good legislature against electronic surveillance, the people voting on it would have to understand electronic surveillance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's never going to happen.
No, we all know those drones are Amazon bots. All right, we got. I know we're pressed.
As we end this, I will tell you. You know what I think the drones were?
What?
I believe that it was Space Force testing their new drone fleet, which they recently built, and I think they were testing the other government agencies' effectiveness at what would happen if drones suddenly started appearing over a populated state.
So that means that the feds have to buy everyone hot dogs for the next month.
It's free food, brother. It's free food.
It's free. Moist meat. Get your fresh moist meat.
Yeah, so let me ask you, at the end of this,
yes,
did any of my rants or raves convince you that Donald Trump is the president for you?
Would it matter if okay, I gotta ask the psychology behind that question, because someone else, many people will ask me similar. Does it matter if I say he's the president for me? I want him to accomplish the things that he said he's going to accomplish. Is that not good enough?
It's good. Well, let me ask you, what kind of victory? So let me ask you, what type of victory would you celebrate that a Donald Trump presidency doing?
What type of victory would I celebrate?
What would get you to come on this podcast and be like, "Whoa, would you believe? Have you heard what Trump did?"
I mean, I'm a divine providence guy. It's funny. I was just having this conversation and I'm just like in between here. Here's what I would want to see happen, man. I want to see freedoms shored up. I want to see evil confronted on a legislative level, right? I want to see those type of things confronted. And I want to see sustainability introduced into the American markets, right? I want us to go from the polar extreme ride that we've been on to a more nice cruise control of
Right.
60 miles per hour so we can just start addressing fundamental issues such as making sure that we're dealing with the way our children are being raised and what information they're being exposed to, which starts at home, right? But I
Right.
want those type of freedoms turned back over to parents, right? I want teachers properly compensated, but I also want them properly trained so they know their place. As in to say, you are here to teach my child about history, not
Right.
your interpretation of history, right? These are the
Not
type
their
of
politics, not their radical gender ideology, but actually the subject in which they are supposedly proficient. Yeah.
Exactly. I want to see if we're going to start throwing out terms like we need to disband DEI hires. I want to see true institutional situations be dealt with. I want Americans to come together under one banner. Now, this is where I start to sound like a megalomaniac. There's only one banner that I want to see flown in America, but I'm not a Christian nationalist because I don't know what those guys are talking about over there. I'm still doing my research before I join any group, right? But I want to see America repent, right? That's the victory I want to see. I want to see America turn away, just like you and I have turned away from things. I want to see the country itself turn away from sin and call evil evil again. If Donald Trump can get America to start calling evil evil again in all its various different forms and the places that it hits you the most, right? Because here's the thing also, man. I can't sit up here in good conscience and say that Elon Musk is a racist, right? I don't know him. I don't know his heart. But God does, right?
Right.
If he is guilty of the sin of hatred, may he be punished for that or forgiven if he embraces the Lord. You see where I'm going with this? These are the type of victories I want to see. You think Trump can help me with any of that type of stuff?
I think like the first couple items on your list, I think that last one's a little hard for any one man to do. But
Exactly. So I have to put my hopes in something more eternal. But
I
those
feel
type of things, just on a local level, I want to see school. I want to see our education system get bolstered again. I want us to compete on a global level. I want America not to be a laughing stock. I don't want to get laughed at by people in England who use words like bloke and geezer, right? I want America to be able to look down on them at the very least. I don't want to look down on people in third world countries. I want to look down on people in Europe. That's what I want to
yes,
look down
I mean I already looked down at them, whether I have the power to or not. You brought up something really good. I also am really into the parental rights. We need to have it signed into law, and it's only under this last administration, right? That even came up, because I think we all assumed parents had rights.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, the Biden administration's like, they're not your children. They're all of our children.
Yeah.
Other people were like, parental rights? Where does it say anything about parental rights? And I was like, now people are questioning whether parents have rights. Parents absolutely have rights over their kids.
And here's what it is, man. I know that all these things start with the best intention. They're trying to confront something because everyone goes to the polar extreme. Like, what about the parents that restrict the child to the point of death, right? It's hyperbolic, but we've seen instances like that. We've seen the crazy, I don't want to name any certain religious sect that denies their child medical care because they're waiting on a miracle, right?
Right.
And I believe in the power of healing. I do. I also believe that when you pray for God to heal your child and a capable doctor shows up that can heal them, you should probably let that happen, right? So
yes, God gave us science to cure people. Right?
That's the extreme example, right? But there are other things where I don't think that the government is allowed into the conversation. And I'm just going to speak frankly, man. The government should not be allowed into the conversation of the sexual orientation of your child. Now, I just used a secular term. Did you hear it? Because I'm trying to appeal to secular people. If you don't want Christians kicking in your door, we don't want the government kicking in our door, right?
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Just leave the kids alone, damn it.
Leave them alone. Let the children be. Just let them be, man. Do all those things sound appropriate to you, man?
It sound wonderful. Your America sounds great. You can count on my vote, brother.
No, I'm telling you, the day after I get in first 100 days, there's going to be some growing pains, right? A lot of freedoms need to be reevaluated, right? And then we'll go on a case by case scenario, man. It's like I'll bring people to what appears to be a throne, but it's not a throne. It's just good for my back, and it's where I'll be sitting. And I'm going to evaluate how they've done thus far in their life with these freedoms that they've.
Is this throne going to be in the third temple in Israel?
Again, it only resembles a throne. It's really about my back.
Right. Oh, yeah, you're back. Okay. D, final thought of the convo says, what I heard is that China made the TikTok app to make American viewers dumb. It increases their attention spans because they were they're fed dopamine at every short clip. I don't know if they had planned that, but that certainly is a good byproduct of the
China
app.
didn't
Right?
need to do that. We were already doing that to ourselves before TikTok with Reels and Vine. Remember Vine, man?
Vine, yeah, Vine. Oh my God, Vine made me at least 10 IQ points dumber.
Thank you, D. D says she's voting for me because everyone knows you need a guy like me sitting up there making the hard decisions. Like, let's ask ourselves a question. Do we want to keep waging war on this country? Or do I want to pull out a remnant of this country so after I exterminate it and obliterate it, we can always say there's a few of them left? Right?
And on that note, that was this week's Fanboy Modeling School, courtesy of Riz Radio. My man, Steve, where can the viewers find you?
You can find me on Sunday nights, Mic Check, where I discuss the goings-on in hip-hop with the same fervor and zeal of which I'm campaigning on right now. And so we got something to talk about on Mic Check when you got to leave sleeping bears alive. You know who Star is, the OG that I like to quote all the time, that guy. He's catching some smoke from some youngsters over on YouTube. And we're going to break down how you can't cancel someone that's willing to say the things that Star says. So tune in this Sunday.
No, you can.
It's going to be an amazing show, man. It's going to be an amazing show.
Excellent. And then also, so Fanboy Modeling School on Riz Radio, you can always find Monday through Thursday. But this live stream, where we get most of our material and you can actually interact with us, ask questions, joke around with us, is actually changing nights.
Again.
Well, so far as fanboys, I actually think we have done every night of the week at this point. We were like on our 5th year, I think. 5 years of doing this.
Have we done Wednesdays? I don't think we've done Wednesdays before.
Have we not?
Wednesdays.
But I don't know why you brought up Wednesday because we're moving to Thursday. So stop confusing them. Fanboy Modeling School is live stream is moving to Thursday nights, closer to the weekend. So you kind of start your weekend with us, and then also isn't your second night of
Mic Check will be moving to Tuesdays. The second night of Mic Check will be moving to Tuesdays, which will be the interview night, all that stuff. You guys know, which if you've been around the Hold Up TV, Riz Radio, Fanboy Modeling School, it used to be the same night that Conversations That Matter used to come on. So
look at that. It has come full circle.
Full circle.
Excellent. But I've had a great time tonight, and I think I'm going to go out and just fanboy for Trump. Oh, wait a minute. I already do that. Look at that.
I love when you get to that place in defending Trump where you're like, I'm not taking any gruff from anyone. Because
once I know you were playing devil's advocate, but I was like, this kid's a liberal.
That's what I love about the general consensus of Trump. You can be in with a Trump voter and you can be out just in a second. Like you can do everything you write and be a
like you said, interesting times we were in right now. Guys, you can also catch me, the Fat Mantis, on Riz Radio. You can catch me both Saturday and Sunday at 6 to 10 p.m., where I'm doing Burn Your Degree, where I make you question the answer. And we do all sorts of crazy, wild things, including listen to today's best music. This is the Fat Mantis and
Steve, really no gimmicks.
Signing off. Until next time, ciao for now.
Is that what the kids do?